Are we recording? Yes. Hi, Brian and Shanta. We're back. The last time you guys watched, if you watched the video before this, we were just discussing all of the predispositions that we come into this world with. And one of the big challenges, the generational issues that we were aware of is the massive amounts of people in Brian's family have dealt with diabetes. And I think we were talking, I don't know if we said it in the video, but there are actually more people in his family that have diabetes than don't. It's easier to tell you who doesn't have it than it is to say who does. So Brian's going to share about the day that he was diagnosed as a diabetic.
So, it was a typical day for me. I was running late to school. I was actually in 7th grade. And the school was probably, I'd say it's about a quarter mile away from my house. So a lot of times I walked to school anyway. So I was late. Walking to school all by myself, not another soul there on the way to school. And I'm walking up the path, and all of a sudden, I just felt hot.
You lost control.
I just felt hot, and not like I'm sweating because I'm walking. It's hot outside, kind of hot. I mean, like hot beneath the belt, wet, hot.
Because?
And I had literally, I went to the bathroom myself. My bladder I wasn't able to control my bladder. Which, if any of you guys have ever done that, it's quite embarrassing.
But you were by yourself.
I was still embarrassing. So I went back home. My stepdad was at home. He called my mom. My mom called the doctor. They had me come in, ran blood work. Blood sugar was 575.
575.
575.
Most people with a sugar of 575 are in a diabetic coma and non-responsive.
Yeah. Yeah, they were very concerned that I wasn't
And confused.
showing more symptoms of having a blood sugar that high. So they treated it as an emergent situation and sent me to the hospital. I was admitted to the hospital, and while I was there, their purpose was to educate me about being a new diabetic, and educate me on how to live my life as a diabetic.
Taking insulin.
Taking insulin,
Testing blood sugar.
testing blood sugars, dietary things, the whole gamut. Dietary, I did okay with. Taking the insulin, I did pretty good. I was able to give myself a shot the first day.
But
Pricking my finger, testing my blood sugar, not so good. I struggled hitting that little button
to prick your
to
finger.
prick my finger. I mean, I could sit there for an hour, like trembling, trying to hit that button, and I just couldn't do it.
He doesn't tremble anymore, but he still doesn't like to do it.
I literally would take the machine and bump it up against a table or something to prick my finger.
Aww.
That's how nervous I was about doing it. And it really didn't hurt. It was just nerve-wracking. So I was in the hospital for 2 weeks because I couldn't prick my finger. It finally got to the point where I got more comfortable doing it, and they felt as though they were comfortable enough letting me go home that I could manage my diabetes.
And you were diagnosed as a...
I was diagnosed as a
Type
type
1.
1 diabetic, which is juvenile diabetes.
I'm running out of time. Go ahead and finish.
And, you know, that was my original diagnosis,
But we found out later.
which I found out later on in life that
No,
it was actually incorrect diagnosis, and I'm technically, or actually a type 2 diabetic.
which we found out after you suffered with kidney failure, because they did they tested him for a kidney and a pancreas transplant.
Yeah.
And
But we'll get into that later.
yeah, that's another story. But I'm just saying that's when you found out you were type 2 diabetic, which means
Yeah.
that for 20 years
Yeah, it's about 20 years.
he was being mistreated, for lack of a better term. The treatment he was receiving was for a type 1 diabetic, and he's a type 2 diabetic. So that adds to the current complications that he has. So we're out of time because we told our millennial children that we would take their advice and keep these videos to 5 minutes. So we're going to say goodbye now, and we'll be back in a couple of days.
But please, if you like it, share it,
We're
tell your
also
friends
open
about
to
it.
loving, constructive critique and feedback, because we want to get better as we go along. And if you have any questions about what we share, or
Any questions? I want to be an open book,
yeah,
because I want my experience to be able to benefit someone else. So if you have any questions, or if you have any friends or family members that could benefit or might have questions, feel free to ask. I'll give honest answers. Thank you, guys. You have a great day. You too.
the family video go a little bit longer so you can cut me reaching over to turn it off, because it shows my boobs.
You're still recording.
I know, on purpose.
Okay.
Now push the button and shut it off. That way you can like clip